What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. Pretty Little Liars Summer School, episode 5. We're coming off a couple of pretty shocking reveals at the end of last episode. Obviously, one, finding Rose Waters, and then two, the other big reveal, Dr. Sullivan being her doctor when she was at Radley back in the day. So we got episode 5. Let's just jump in and talk about it. I do have a note here, too, and this was just going through Twitter during the week before this episode even came out. Is Chip's mom a suspect? Obviously, she was pretty upset. We saw earlier this season with Tabby, and I imagine the rest of the girls. Could she possibly be a suspect? I don't know. It was just something I saw people talking about online. I don't know if she could possibly be a suspect in this. Could she be the one portraying Bloody Rose and, torturing these girls for, rightfully so, being harsh on her son? But obviously, that's still her son, even though he was wrong in everything he did. But could she possibly be a suspect? I don't know. Just wanted to bring that up. Anyway, before we jump into the recap, if you could, hit that subscribe button down below and drop the like button if you do like the video. But we jump right into another spooky spaghetti video of people, looks like, honoring Bloody Rose in some type of way, honoring her in her shack in the woods, it kind of looked like from the background. Then quick jump to the girls trying to stitch Farron's arm together from her cut that she got from Bloody Rose. She tells them about how everything happened and she wanted to stop her and end this. Said she wasn't strong enough and failed. They say, no, you survived. You didn't fail. But if a call comes in, let's answer it and handle it together, 5 against 1. Then they fill her in about finding the real Angela Waters there in Tent City. They don't know if when she jumped off of the bridge into the water if she survived or not. But now they know for sure Rose Waters and Bloody Rose are 2 different people. Also, filled her in about Dr. Sullivan being Rose Waters' doctors at Radley. And then, as I said at the end of last episode, here's the accusing of Dr. Sullivan as we suspected. I still believe she's just a red herring, nothing really to do with A or anything. But they're going to try to snoop around. But they all want to stop group therapy. Imogen can't really because of her meds, so she's kind of hesitant. Jen checks in on Noah, says her and her friends are dealing with some messed up stuff again, and she comforts her, and they end up getting a little busy and sleeping together, presumes. Imogen fills Tabby in on kissing Johnny, and Tabby on kissing Christian. They plan on double dating. Noah wakes up with Jen, and Sean is there, ready for their run to train for the July 4th marathon, I believe is what they said. Jen comes out of the room and is like, I didn't get much rest. And Noah's like, okay, time to go, and they head off and run. Tabby and Imogen trying to poke around with Tabby's mom to find out where they found Dr. Sullivan. They said Deputy Maroon, I believe. Sean and Noah are running through the woods, trails, and they pass a sign that says the trails close at dusk. Noah apologizes for not spending much time together lately with summer school, work, and everything. Jen living at her place. He says, nothing to apologize for. I love you. The girls are together in the library. Farron tells them how her and Henry have been drifting apart and how he's been talking about their relationship at the church group thing there with Kelly. She thinks she's outgrown him. Noah is like, maybe you just need to wait it out and it'll go back to the way it was. They kind of agree and think that he's one of the good ones. Imogen is with Dr. Sullivan. She said she offered to help when she heard about their situation, having worked with the police department there before. She says they found Rose Waters and asked why she didn't say that she treated Rose while in Radley. She said patient confidentiality, but also says that she hasn't talked since the Radley closed. She asked where she was last night. She said at home, zooming with a few patients she treats remotely. And no, I can't talk about them either, as she says. Greg offers Farron help because of her messed up arm. Then she says, okay, stop, we're doing this. They go to arm wrestle, and no shock, Farron beats him, but opened her cut, it looks like. Annual Friday the 13th marathon at the movie theater. Tabby and Christian are talking about their favorite Friday the 13th movies. Wes interrupts, asking why a hand was in the popcorn machine. Tabby tells him about her shooting her short there, about Piff reaching back out. He's like, oh, that's exciting. She asks if he can put in a good word with one of his professors from NYU that he knew, that I believe is associated with Piff. He's like, you should have told me you were shooting here. Liability issues. Just kind of acting weird, seems a little jealous. And Christian says he looked mad. Tabby says he's probably just stressed with the Friday the 13th marathon. And Christian's like, I don't trust the guy. He's darkness. Which is interesting coming from Christian, given he just got here. But I think Christian's one of the good ones. I'm standing on that. Noah and Jen is at work, and Noah's upset about this morning with Sean. Sean's mom comes in yelling at Noah about her son giving her $2,000. She lies and says it was for her mom relapsing and going back to get more help. Sean's mom says you have to pay him back. Jen says, let's just pay her off and you can be done with that whole family, basically, like, so they can be together. Or was last night a mistake? Johnny asks Imogen how she's doing. She seems off, but asking how she's doing after their kiss. Imogen's dad actually comes into the creamery there, checking in on her and wants more visits. He says he's seeing someone. Rebecca is her name. Supposedly they're engaged. Was hoping for her to come over and meet her tomorrow. She's like, sure, why not? Sean comes over to see Noah. They end up getting busy. Henry and Farron are talking about why she's upset about him talking about their problems there at the church group. Said was looking for guidance in a non-judgmental place. He wants her to come to a youth group session. Wes says he thinks Pift only reached out because of being dragged about diversity recently. She's like, you're not saying the only reason I got a call is because I'm black, are you? She's like, no, it's because I'm good and my voice is unique. Wes drops the craziest line that you can drop, but not shocking for Wes. It's the hardest for a straight white guy right now. Not really, buddy. Tabby suggests a movie off, posting their short without any credits to see who has the better vision and, mind with the short. He says, no, good luck getting through Friday the 13th marathon without me. Also says, forget about putting in a word. Tabby's like, you would have tried to probably undermine me anyway, so no thanks. Noah tells Sean about her mother coming into her work, demanding her pay him the money back. He says she has no right, like that's my money, I can do what I want with it, I'll take care of it. Mouse's grandma is watching Spooky Spaghetti and they're doing a weird Friday the 13th, I think they called it awakening ritual for Bloody Rose on there, and they all cut their foreheads. Like, what? Imogen tells Tabby she thinks Dr. Sullivan is hiding something. I'm assuming got a weird vibe from her during that conversation. Tabby says, what if she's using all of this information we've given her against us as Bloody Rose? They say they could break into her office, not like security is a priority there, clearly. Farron goes to the youth group. Kelly confesses that she was mean to Farron because she was jealous of her and how they became friends when she was hurting herself, and she loves her for that. Greg says how he's been giving Farron crap all summer, says I respect you for not taking anything from anyone. Henry apologizes for not being direct about his feelings about missing dancing and hopes to somehow be together in a new way. Kelly suggests Redemption House. They're in Dr. Sullivan's office going through files, and we see the OG Liars files as they're going through the file cabinet. Let's go. That was a nice little reference there. Then they find Imogen's file, and it says in the file that she was on the verge of a psychotic break, has transcripts from all their sessions. They find a digital recorder that has been recording all of them without their knowledge in their sessions. The girls go over the files. Imogen says we're almost all done with her. The girls barnstorm in Dr. Sullivan's office the next day and confront her about recording them. She said, I'm working on a book about adolescent survivors of traumatic events, like the Millwood Massacre, thinks it can help similar survivors. Her plan was to let them read the book when she was done, and they can redact anything that they were uncomfortable with. They say, hope you got an advance on that book because we're going to sue you for every penny you have. Imogen sticks around and says, I trusted you. The girls are wondering if her writing a book makes her more or less likely to be Bloody Rose. Y'all know how I feel about that. Then Mouse tells them about the reckoning, is what they called it on Spooky Spaghetti there, them all honoring Bloody Rose, whatever you want to say, and people cutting their forehead. And apparently Mouse's grandma did cut her forehead. We saw her watching that video earlier in the episode. They all say they'll come to the Friday the 13th marathon. The AC broke at the movie theater, and Wes, of course, didn't show up. Tabby suggests them moving the movie outside to Camp Millwood, since it's abandoned, I believe they said, and they can just show it out there. Sean tells Noah you don't have to worry about his mom anymore. He told her he's moving out, and he's like, I can stay on some friends' couches, and, can I crash with you? He says, I'm always going to choose you over anyone. Greg tells Farron that Henry is part of the inner group with Kelly in some secret meetings at the church. Interesting. Imogen and Johnny show up to her dad's, meet his fiance. She has on her mom's ring, and apparently it was her dad's mom's ring. And when they got a divorce, she gave it back to him. Still a little weird, though. Imogen says to the chick, did you know that was my dead mother's ring? Imogen says, take it off, or then she picks up a knife and says, or I'll cut it off. She says to her dad, you couldn't even come to the funeral, you coward. Farron shows up at the church. She goes upstairs in a weird group, and they're all doing the weird honoring thing, or I don't even know what to call it. Just weird situation. Don't know what's going on. She darts out of there. runs out. Henry goes out there after her, says you weren't supposed to see that. And then Farron's like, so what's the real thing of Redemption House? Was it last night or is it that? Because that was weird. And then Farron says, do you want to get back together with me or because you and Kelly want to indoctrinate me? She asks, will you walk away from this place for me? He won't answer, so she says, we are utterly and completely broken up. Thankfully, Johnny got Imogen out of the house at her dad's place. He says, I don't think you're nuts. You took a chance on your dad, and he let you down. And of course you're hurt. If it's any consolation, my dad sucks too. He asks what her mom was like. Amazing, funny, super smart, and couldn't bite her tongue. He's like mother, like daughter. Noah shows up at home. Jen has the $2,000 for Sean, but she sees a note on, looks like the living room table. Roses and a note. And it says, you've been walking the forbidden path, go there alone or one of your lovers dies. She turns around and kind of freaks out on Jen, trying to save her and says, you got to get out of here. I need you to be gone. She's like, so you're picking Sean over me? She said, yes, I did. We slept together after you and me because when we did it, didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. I love Sean, not you. It's over. Now get out. She says, I know you don't mean that. And Noah says, you don't know me at all. And then she eventually leaves. We're at Camp Millwood for the Friday the 13th marathon. Noah shows up to the trails that her and Sean were running on. Another note for her saying, a final girl must have a high threshold for pain. Take off your shoes and start walking. We see roses lined on a path throughout the trail. Hear a dog barking in the background. Imogen and Johnny are working the ice cream truck at the movie. Noah gets pricked by a rose as she's starting to walk through the roses and starts to see the thorns on all the roses stuck up. Bloody Rose shows up at the beginning of the trail with a barking dog, and with the thorn of the roses in front of her, she sends the dog after her, and she has to start running through the thorns. Farron tells the girls about breaking up with Henry, says the church group is basically a full-on cult. Seems like they're not really surprised, especially since they're not involved. And a lot of other people in the town who are kind of suspect are, it seems like. They wonder where Noah is, and they cut to her being chased. Jen shows up as she kind of falls down a little hill at the end of the trail. She gets in the car, and they are able to drive away. Then the closing shot is Bloody Rose holding the dog right there, very creepily. And wow, what an ending to an episode. And so we got in this episode, as we kind of said, they were gonna, I think, a red herring in Dr. Sullivan, but they definitely accused her. I don't think they didn't accuse her as hard as I think. You know, they kind of mentioned it, but we saw as we talked about a little bit earlier, was like, does her writing a book make her more or less likely to be involved with this as Bloody Rose? As I said before, I don't think so. I think that's a classic red herring. And I think that another red herring that we got in this episode is Imogen's dad's fiance, is my guess. I don't think she really has anything involved with this. I mean, shoot, unless we learn some more about her and there's some more motive there, then possibly. But I think the cult at the church with Kelly and her mom being there, could that be explaining why they're weird? Because in terms of who A is, if you've watched the rest of the recaps for the season, I've been on every episode saying Kelly and her mom in some sort. Maybe they're not acting as Bloody Rose. Why they're acting weird, this kind of church cult group, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. The weird situation going on there at the church, is that why they're acting weird? I'm still not high on any of the significant others being or being involved in any of that or having any knowledge. So right now, as I said, I think red herrings there, Dr. Sullivan and Imogen's dad fiance. I think the Chip's mom part is interesting. I'm just, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I'm just curious. I don't know if they would do that since we haven't really seen anything from her besides, those one or two scenes at the beginning of the season. I do think that provides a lot of motive. So I think we finally found someone with quite a bit of motive to want to torture the girls. But I don't know. Jury's still out. Obviously, I still think something's weird going on. Kelly and her mom. Did we kind of get that answer with the weird church group thing? Or is there more behind this weird church group thing? That's to be determined. I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm pretty sure from the talk online that I've seen is we might get a Bloody Rose reveal next week. I don't know if that means we're kind of finding out who it is as an audience, and then the girls won't find out until, there's only 3 episodes left. So I don't know what that means or don't know if that's true, but we could be getting some huge answers next week, next Thursday. I don't know if you all have been keeping up with the stills and stuff that has been coming out throughout the season. I believe next week is that Pride pool party that we've seen. And as I said, the chatter online is that we're going to get that Bloody Rose reveal as well. I don't know if that'll happen. Also interested to see, obviously, there's only 3 episodes left in the season. So I'm excited for next Thursday, excited for the remaining 3 episodes of the season. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.